Welcome to the Strategic Management Accounting course, where we teach the value-adding steps and processes necessary to execute strategy. Whether you are just starting up or looking to grow your business, then this course is for you. With your host, Dr. Neil O'Connor.
Hi, it's Neil here, back again, and this is week 2. We're looking at pricing, chapter 13 of the Horniran textbook, that is edition 15. And we really want to understand, just in this session, the difference between short-term and long-term pricing. What do you do differently in terms of the calculation needed to support a long-term pricing decision and a short-term pricing decision? But before we go any further, I want you to have a look at this framework that I set up based on my years of study and all the different techniques, rules and procedures that help to distinguish a short-term, long-term pricing decision. What you have in front of you is a framework of the activity-based costing model, and that comprises systems planning, where you identify, define and classify the activities. But notice that it breaks off into activity-based costing, which to date mostly focuses on getting relevant information so you can make a decision about, do we buy a product, do we make a product? And we can expand that to working out which of our customers are profitable, which ones are not profitable, which of our suppliers are profitable, which of our suppliers are not profitable. You get the idea, right? So activity-based costing helps us to allocate most of the relevant costs, if not all of them, to alternatives in a decision point, in a relevant decision point. We're going to cover that in the following week in more detail with examples and applications pertaining to customers, pertaining to suppliers. In the past, a bulk of management accounting teaching is really focused on just allocating activity-based costing to products. Do we make or buy a product? And I think with the changing economy around the world, where increasingly the GDP of any nation is increasingly being made up of services, more and more relevant decisions are centered on who customers are our profitable customers, which customers are not our profitable customers, which of our suppliers are profitable, which of our suppliers are not profitable, in terms of supporting your value chain. And so this is the reason why we want to just expand activity-based costing beyond understanding whether a certain product is profitable or not. We really want to know whether a particular sales channel is profitable or not. And so we're going to look at that next week. This week, we're going to look closely at value engineering, which is part of the 5 different steps of target costing. And I highlight step 1 and step 5 of target costing because really step 1 is all about functional analysis, and that is determining at a particular price point what functions are we going to put in our product to compete for a certain market. And we talk about that in the session, because sometimes there are some cameras, high-end, 15, 20, 30,000 Hong Kong dollars, which could be upwards of 5, 6, 7,000 US dollars, and they're very high-end, but not everyone wants a high-end camera. People are also prepared to pay just $200, $300 or $400 for a cheap camera because they are just looking for a particular function. Maybe just some basic weekend snaps to put online in Facebook and so forth. So you can see that people buy at certain price points, they look for different functions. So the first step in target costing is to really understand the price point and the functionality of the product that fits into that price point. And so we look into that in detail, functional analysis. Next is design analysis and process value analysis. These are more internal value generating strategies. And what do I mean by that? It is step 5 of target costing, and we'll get into these steps later. But design analysis is really understanding, okay, once we have determined that we're going to compete for a certain price point, then we need to decide how can we design that product to minimize the cost of making that product while maintaining its functionality at that price point. So that's all about design. It's about prototyping. It's about getting the right design to fit that product strategy. Yes, you know that. And then here we have over here process value analysis, where we're actually focusing more on just a continuous improvement of cost down, cost down, cost down, cost down, by looking at all of the processes and working out, assessing which of these processes are adding value, which of these processes are not adding value, and defining the root causes of the activities. Is there some way that we can minimize the resources consumed by a particular activity? And then establishing performance measures. Performance measures give us feedback for learning. Performance measures help to activate incentives for people to pay more attention during the activity. And once we establish activity performance measures, then we can search for more improvement activities. And this is that cost down, that continuous improvement. Plan, do, plan, act, check, and do. Plan, do, check, and act. Okay, and that's the continuous improvement cycle. So there you have it. That's the activity-based management implementation model. On your right side, you have the activity-based costing, where we're trying to focus on making relevant decisions about the revenue, the main sources of revenue for your product. And so how can we make the right product decisions to sell to maximize our revenue? How can we sell to the right sales channel that will maximize our revenue? How can we choose the right suppliers that will maximize their value to supplying the components or the assembly for the product that we are trying to make for the market? So you can see that on this side, activity-based costing is focusing on customer profitability, product profitability, and supplier profitability. Suppliers on the cost end, so profitability from the point of view of having a lower cost for a sustainable quality of supply of components or assembled material. But on the other side, and this is a very much neglected area in a lot of management accounting textbooks and in a lot of business management training, is this notion of value engineering. And this is that cost side. This is, if you can better manage your costs, if you can better understand where your costs come from, that is, how are you consuming resources, and is there some way that you can reduce that consumption, either by selectively choosing which price points you're going to target your product in part of product strategy, marketing strategy. That's functional analysis. How can we make the design of the product better? Design analysis. And on the factory floor, how can we improve the processes in the factory? Process value analysis, where we're looking at non-value added activity, we're trying to get rid of them, and we're trying to focus on improving the remaining value added activities. So that's what we're going to cover in this session in more detail. So keep this in mind. This is our activity-based management implementation model. It covers a lot of good stuff that is not adequately covered in a lot of management, accounting, and other business textbooks for that matter. So catch you in the classroom, and thank you very much for watching. If you haven't subscribed yet, please press the button and subscribe to further videos in this value-added content. Bye for now.